We ain't doing the intro. We ain't doing any introduction. We just gonna get straight into this because man, this is the sickest stuff. Like I knew it was real, but like reading how like intense it was, and then seeing more than I expected, man, that's some crazy stuff. So the Epstein files dropped. I didn't think we would actually see this much stuff. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think we'd see this much. I actually thought we'd actually never see it. But we've got a few things being released, a lot of non-surprising stuff. Donald Trump is on the list, and I've been saying this. Donald Trump is on that list. He actually had a very key part in it. Prince Andrew as well. It made sense why he got kicked out of the royal family because you can see him in pictures being involved with the young women and stuff like that. Apparently, he did even more serious and sick things as well. Donald Trump, I even want to circle back to him because if you read this right here, it says in the statement that he would you read it for yourself. I'm not reading that crap. But that's what this man would do. And I've been saying, I knew that man was on this list. And, even though he was going to do that whole thing in Nigeria and Venezuela of taking down corrupt governments, I still always said in my videos, Donald Trump needs to be held accountable, whether he's the president or not. You're not going to sort out one issue and then we think we're going to forget. It's all a manipulation strategy to this dude. Jeffrey Epstein as well. No surprise. I'm seeing people like Jay-Z, Pusha T, all kinds of nonsense. There's a lot of mess in these Epstein files. I think even the one that surprised me the most was Zora Mamdani's mom. And you see, I already had trust issues before, but I have even more trust issues now because I really rooted for that guy, But now this picture, this whole interaction started to make sense. Like, brother, why do people just keep breaking my trust like this? Oh my days.
I need help.
What kind of help?
This is the kind of help I need.
Yes, what kind of help?
I need somebody to help me not have a big heart because my heart is so big. People betray me and I keep forgiving them.
And I told myself I wouldn't fall for any of these gimmicks. And I fell for a gimmick, thinking Zora Mandami was a decent person. But what I've realized about these people in power, nobody gets to power by accident or by goodwill. It's always for a more calculated reason. It's always for a more orchestrated plan. Now, there's a lot of things that they did on this island. They would invite young men and young women onto the island. They would rape. They would murder people on that island. They would, oh, goodness gracious me, sacrifice children. They would eat children's intestines. They would sell children off. They would dress them up. All kinds of nonsense, all kinds of crazy things. They would theorize about how to experiment on human beings and the study of human beings in the most sickest ways, referring to human beings as goyim and things like that. And for those of you who don't know what goyim is, it's an Israeli term of people that are not Jewish. It's kind of, they see goyims as less than human beings, like they don't deserve any respect or any grace, things like that. Yeah, all types of nonsense on the Epstein files. Now, if you wanted to know the full details about all these things, there's other content creators that are covering that. You get what I'm saying? But I'm not going to do that in this video because I need to focus on the one major key thing that centers in all of this. Because we're getting distracted with all the news, and rightfully so. We should be able to look at all this news and hold these people accountable. But there's a centerpiece into all of this. And from what we can see in the files, these guys are devil worshippers. And I don't care if you think you're atheist or non-religious or you don't believe in that stuff. They clearly do, and they know what they're doing with all of this. One part that I really want to point out is the fact that they would sacrifice children. There's people who came out saying that these people sacrificed children and they were to never be seen again.
¡Comieron humanos! ¡Asquerosidad! ¡Comieron humanos! Yo no estaba enterada de nada. Que había, los asesinatos sí, pero que habían comido humanos. ¡Humanos!
It's off shelves. We're not gonna stop. And if they want to sue me, guess what? I'm gonna countersue them. Guys, save the children. It's so sad. They're telling me I need a mental evaluation because I'm defending children. The little children, the babies, guys, babies. They're eating babies, literally. And I'm the crazy one. Bro, you guys need to get behind me, bro. They're eating kids. It's so sad, bro. It's sad. No, I'm not okay, bro. It happened to me and it's gonna happen to, if we let the
All of this is demonic. We know it's demonic, but people need to understand that these people know the power of the spiritual realm, and you keep steady thinking that it's not real, and it is real. You can't sit here and deny it anymore. They've said it themselves. Why else would they be doing rituals? Why else would they be doing child sacrifices? Why else would they be doing that? There's going to be one person who's going to be watching this video like, oh, it's still not real. It's still not this. It's still not that. That's good for you. Be oblivious if you want. But this goes to show you guys that the spiritual realm that they keep trying to dumb down for you guys and make you think that it's not real and it's all stupid and, you're just a conspiracy theorist. Stop thinking that and stop being brainwashed by these people that are doing these evil things. They dumb the power of Christ down to you, saying things like Jesus is a fairy tale and things like that, because they don't want you to be aware of the things that they do. If you read in the Bible, a lot of the things that Jeffrey Epstein and his gang have done on this island is things that these evil people have done in the Bible. They've done these things in the Bible, and this is just them reincarnated doing it again in modern day. But you wouldn't know that because they purposely tell you not to read the Bible because it's a quote unquote book of fairy tales. And because they have dumbed down society so much to the fact that no one believes in Jesus Christ or even thinking the Bible is credible, what ends up happening is that when files like this do come out, us as people will not make an outrage enough to fight back against this nonsense, because there's half of us knowing and being aware that this is a very real thing, and there's half of us that will sit there like this isn't real, because it doesn't even come to you as a concept that this would be real. So your only assumption is that it's fake, it's all lies, and it's all exaggerated, whatever it is. And that's all they want. They don't want to convince all of us that religion isn't real. They want to convince at least half of us, because that's enough to keep the balance and the tame waters that nobody is going to do anything about this. They're steady playing in our faces, and everyone needs to wake up.
They performed rituals, and they worked. They performed rituals, and they worked. The Epstein files are worse than we could have imagined, okay? And the fact that the rituals worked points to a dark force that they're working with. Satan, okay? This earth is ran by Satan. Jesus is real. Christ is king. Get right with him before it's too late. God is real. Repent while you still can. Because this world is ran by evil people and Satan. And we can't stand for this stuff anymore. It's evil. It's pure evil. Okay? So get your heart right while you still can. This is God calling you now. Lock in.
Is because
Very, very weird from a young age. When you're young, you start to see the Illuminati and you're like, oh yeah, this is like, I figured it all out. But you then realize that this is much bigger than the Illuminati, and this is a Satan organized industry, an industry that praises and promotes the worship of unaliving an op, or sleeping around with loads of people, or getting pregnant and getting multiple abortions and not caring about them because it's not real, or an industry that pushes for the hate and division of different types of people. In these files, you can see them carefully examine each and every single piece that happens in this media. And a lot of you guys are thinking that you like these things out of choice, but it's the things that they want you to like. And why do they want you to like those things? It's because it pushes you away from the true God, which is Jesus Christ. You see, when they push you away from that, and they get you thinking that you have the free will to decide all these orchestrated demonic things that they want you to focus on, they know that you won't have the capacity to even imagine the gravity and the extent of what it is that they are doing behind closed doors, who they are worshiping behind closed doors, and why they're doing the things that they're doing. When you look at the lyrics, when you look at, the clothing, everything that you see, it's all satanic coded. Every last bit of it to the T. Everything that they have to do is satanic coded, and they fund everything because they just want to do it. They love to see destruction.
Music is a great example. It's a common man's example. You know, when you hear a certain song, it makes you feel a certain way. How does it do that? We don't know. We can't mathematize it. And even that music, Steve, nowadays we compress music. When you have a violin, it's compressed onto your iPhone. So what does compression mean? I'm taking lots of information and I'm cutting it into lots of pieces and squishing it together. And when I squish it or compress it, I have to take out lots of pieces, but I say that they're not very important pieces. It's those pieces that we take out when we compress data, to me, are the most interesting parts of life.
You just said a while ago, part of this new search for science may go back to when people were actually talking about a soul.
Jeffrey Epstein might be dead, but it seems like his vision for the world is very much alive. Just look at this email correspondence that he had with Peter Thiel, JD Vance's direct mentor, about the world after Brexit. Epstein says Brexit, just the beginning, and then Thiel says, of what? And Epstein says return to tribalism, counter to globalization, amazing new alliances. You and I both agreed zero interest rates were too high. And as I said in your office, finding things on their way to collapse was much better than finding the next bargain. Epstein and his associates knew that Brexit was bad for the UK economy, that it would send interest rates to the floor, and that it would put the UK in a situation of slow decline. And given all of their influence that we now know they had over the British government, I don't think it's a crazy thing to say that they probably engineered Brexit because they knew they could make out like bandits. And there is every indication that the UK was just a test case for what they want to implement around the world. It is a complete vindication of the shock doctrine, the theory of disaster capitalism that Marxists have speculated about for decades, and they're just saying it. That crisis is a feature, not a bug of capitalism, and that capitalists intentionally manufacture it because they know that even in situations, especially in situations of crisis, they will profit while normal people suffer. Like I said, Jeffrey Epstein himself might be gone, but we are very much still living in Epstein's world. And it's one in which a very small boys club of very wealthy people continue to get richer while the rest of us watch the world deteriorate.
You got to understand that these rich billionaires, these rich people that have made these institutions that make you feel as if you're liberated, are only there to make you more dumb and blinded to the stupidness and the craziness that these people are doing. I did sit there and wonder, though, why would they release all these files? Why would they be so comfortable exposing people that are clearly still alive and well? Why would they still release these? And then I started to sit there and wonder for a minute, and I realized this is all just a big game to them. You see, we as a society, right? They have trained us in a way to be so timid. And what do I mean by so timid? From when we look at everything that they've made us believe in terms of wars that didn't need any reason to be going on, in terms of being submissive to the rhetoric and the agendas that they push on social media or TV shows and things like that, or the way they slowly take away our confidence and our rights to do anything. And they've divided our society in the sense that there's right, left, this group of people, that group of people, we're all in different factions now. It gets to a point where even if we all recognize that this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing is bad, none of us are going to do anything. And it's gone to the point where they know that. Otherwise, why else would they expose a bunch of people? For them, they know that all we're going to do is make videos, give commentary, and that's it. And at the end of the day, life is going to continue to go on. And that's the thing that really disturbs me, because there's victims that, didn't make it out of that island alive. There's victims that are still alive and they're always going to be traumatized. And addition to that, this stuff is still going on. Yes, Jeffrey Epstein is the one that we know about, but there's many pedophile rings. There's many child trafficking cases. There's many people who got eaten and sacrificed and all things of that nature. There's many people that are still victim to this, and this is still going on, but they know we're not going to do anything about it. And that's the thing, because I guess us as human beings, we would do something, but in our head, we're in a position where it's like we want to do something, but if we do something, we don't want to do it alone. And it's all about like who's going to start that, first. For them, they know no one's going to start it first. They know that the most is just going to go away. Donald Trump is still going to be in power. All these people are still going to have their money. These idols, these people that told us that we should trust them, we should look up to them, we should be inspired by them. These are the people that recognize that there's a flaw in us, and that is that we're too gullible. We're too easily influenced. We're too easily lied to. We get manipulated so easy to the point where we don't even know what to do in this situation. And I like to say that we know what to do. The world is controlled by sick Satan worshipping people that will continue to push the idea that hookup culture is a good thing, that drug use is a good thing, that hating another person is a good thing, that unalive another person is a good thing. All the types of evil that you can think of, they're going to continue pushing these as honest causes, but really and truly it's to further divide us, it's to further confuse us, it's to further get us against each other. And that's the dark reality of it, because they've done such a good job to the point where some people won't see past the bigger picture of what this is and how this all centers to Satan, how this all centers to the devil, whether it be in our music or our media or our TV shows or whatever it is that they've pushed out, it all centers to Satan. And they laugh at us from a distance because if you think they're smarter than us, they don't even regard us as human beings because, they ain't going to do nothing. It's all a game. Them releasing these files is to further test us to see our gangster. And from the looks of it, our gangster is only to the point of making opinions, and then we go back to our regular lives where we're still stressed about money. We're still stressed about how to feed the family. We're still stressed about how to do this and that. We're so distracted with all these other responsibilities that they've put in our faces to a point that even if we wanted to do something, there's no time to. We're too tired to. We're too exhausted to. And that's why they will forever get away with this, because we are too distracted. We are too busy. We are too focused on other things apart from what really matters. And that's why they will continue to run game on people that don't know any better. And they continue to run game on people who would like to know better, but are just too tired to do it. This is a disturbing thing, man. Very messed up stuff. Them Epstein files. Aye. But yeah, guys. If this isn't a sign for you to believe in God, I don't know what is. Because if your enemy, if these rich people trust in the power of Satan, your best bet, if you want to fight against this, if you want to go against this, if you want to stand up against this, is to join the side that goes against everything these people stand for, and that is the side of Jesus Christ. A lot of you don't realize that you have a lot of Christian tendencies in you, but it's because this world has convinced you that God's not real. The rich people have convinced you God is not real. You're steady thinking that that's your opinion. I'm here to tell you it's not your opinion. They've brainwashed you with all these brain rot things, these degenerate things, so that you don't have a close relationship with God. So now you're sat there with a belief of what the right thing is and what God would consider the right thing is, but you don't believe in God. And to them, that's enough, because if you have no God to serve, if you have no God to believe in, then they have the upper hand over you, because their God knows how to deal with people who doesn't believe. What do you guys think about this whole situation? Do you agree with what I have to say? What's your opinions on the files? Prayers to the victims, prayers to anyone involved. Man, Zora Mamdami's mom is still surprising me. But let me know what you guys think. And that being said, God bless. Take care. I'll see you guys next video.